Welcome everybody to the first ever UGB podcast, episode 1 of what we hope to be many. We're going to kind of play it loose and off the cuff for the most part. We will have some talking points that we want to hit on, but we're very open to feedback, good and bad, what you like, what you don't like, any suggestions or ideas you've got. I am here with my partner, my buddy Sawyer, and my buddy John. Sawyer's with FMG Precision Coatings. John, he's just fucking hangs out all day. But we're gonna start off. I got a question for Sawyer. So last time when we were messing around with the practice trial run, we were talking a little bit about Cerakote, and I'm sure you get it from time to time. Those guys that come to you and just say, "Oh, I'll just do something and surprise me." Do you get those?
I do, and we talked about kind of that funnier one with the furry dude and his gun, but I thought about that a little bit more, and there was one guy. He's actually a pretty interesting dude. He was the president of the Safari Club down in Los Angeles, and he's a fucking rough and tumble old timer, and he came in and he had just a super oddball gun. It was like a Spikes tactical AR lower with a bolt action AR upper. I know, it was wild. And he goes, "Dude, I'm building this gun to piss people off." He's like, I don't care. He had more money than he knew what to do with.
Was it Mineral Dick?
No, fuck no. This guy was he was way more put together than fucking Mineral Dick. This guy was just, he was an old timey dude. He had a long ass beard. He rolled up in a fucking Escalade. He was like, he's big into African safaris and, hunting. That's why he's a Safari Club guy. But we ended up doing that hand painted skull with the purple and orange Cryptek fade all over the gun.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard though, man. It's tough because when people come to me, and I'm pretty sure it's the same with you, and they say, "Oh yeah, do whatever you want," and my first question is, "Well, what's your budget?" And a lot of guys, they come to you and they got a do anything you want attitude and a dollar store budget, and it's like, "Well, I can do graphite black for you, pal. No payment plans." So it's a rare opportunity because it's like, I had like 20 some hours of fucking hand painting on that lower. And it turned out bitching. It's a benchmark piece in my collection for things I've done. But we've had some odd requests for some weird shit.
Well, I mean, do you like it when somebody says that, or are you like, fuck?
It just depends on the person, man. I feel like I vibe off the customer. Like if you're a customer, right? And we were talking about this. You come in, you have a good attitude, you're hyped about the project. You're going to be respectful to my time, man. I'm more apt to give you more for your money just because the experience was enriching to me and I get to do something that I'm interested in. But
doesn't suck.
Yeah. Well, you come in and you and I just had another experience with another guy, that it was the exact opposite. And he came in, he's like, "Hey, I want this super oddball paint job," but he's like trying to nickel and dime me. He's trying to tell war stories. And I'm like, first the fuck off, dude. I don't know you from Adam. I don't want to talk to you about this. I don't care. I'm no fucking war hero. So why are we going to do this? And secondly, do you want your gun painted or not? You're hemming and hawing. He was hemming and hawing over $25, but he kept wanting, "Oh, well, those magazine extensions are free, right? Oh, these fucking pins and stuff, them are free, right?" And it's like,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, man. I just eventually,
if you hadn't asked about it, yeah, they would have been for free. Now, $20 a pin.
Well, yeah, and it gets like that sometimes, and it does get discouraging. I'll tell you that, because 99.9% of my customers are very cool people. We've been lucky with that. 1% of the time we get somebody like. My least favorite thing that you can do as a customer is send me an email with this long list of a build spec on a rifle. And I go, "Oh, okay, what do you want me to do?" And they go, "Paint my lower black." And I'm like, why did you send me a fucking dissertation for me to do your lower in black? Like, are you trying to show me that you have good taste in parts kits, or that you built this fucking item that you're very proud of? I don't get it. And I call them gun store geeks. I don't give a fuck about parts. I don't care. Can you run the gun? Can you not? That's super cool.
But somebody gives you free reign on a design, and I mean, are you excited about that, or are you fucking dreading it, or how do you handle that?
I take it as a compliment that they trust me with their shit, and we work in an industry where this is not like paying your light bill. It's not putting new car tires on your car. This is a purely luxury spend. They don't have to spend this money. This ain't food. This ain't tuition. It's their choice. It's, so when they come, number one, there's 100 of people that out there that do this, and probably more than 100, and they can get it for cheaper elsewhere, guaranteed. We're not cheap. So when they come to me and they go, you know what, dude, just do whatever you want. I take that as I guess I take it as a compliment, because I'm like, man, you could have gone anywhere. You could have chose anyone. You could have picked. We got like the bargain bin camos that, cover everything. So it feels good. I take it as a compliment, but, unfortunately it doesn't happen, as often as maybe I'd like for my ego to feel more, you know what I mean? Because
I used to fucking despise it. I mean, I just, really? I couldn't stand it when somebody would just, and I got a new client and he's in New Jersey or California or whatever, and he sends me this gun. He's like, oh, just surprise me. And I'm like, dude, I don't fucking know you. I don't know what you're into. I don't like this situation at all. And I would always end up kind of doing like a fallback, something safe, like an American flag theme, or, and it would turn out cool, and everybody was always happy with it. And that was another thing. I was always like, are they going to fucking like it? Or are they just going to, say they like it and never be back, or whatever.
Yeah.
And John's, the beans gun was the first one where I was ever like, and of course I kind of got that vibe from John too. We got along. He seemed like he was pretty cool, but it was the first gun I was just like, I'm fucking doing whatever I want. You told me to do whatever I want. Here it comes, motherfucker. And
yeah,
I mean, I don't think every build or every job can be that way, where so off the wall. But then again, I'm like, you told me,
Yeah, you said whatever.
It looks good though. I actually like the Beans Gang rifle. It's probably one of my favorites from your repertoire. And I think it comes at a time too where everybody needs a good laugh, and in an industry,
the whole industry needs to lighten up, man. People in this, dude, people are way too serious about whether it is whose chest rig they're running, or whether it is what parts. I mean, I get blasted. Hell, I get blasted by Jeff for the guns I choose to shoot, but at least he does it just because he can, Yeah. But man, people, and then maybe it's not just the industry. Maybe it's all the life. People need to lighten up. Man,
big fact.
Don't be so serious.
Well, that was my point, because it's like sometimes, and dude, we're no fucking, I'm no multi-million follower page, but like, I feel like if you're doing something creative, you're doing something in a realm in which there's an interest in it. I've been able to do this business for 10 years now. Thank fucking God, even during this time, both of us have been busy. John, I know you're busy in your industry. You got people that are doing like day-to-day needed services, and they can't fucking get a job. And I just hired 3 new people. So it's like, I feel fucking blessed from the top down that I'm able to work in this industry. Do I hate some of the facets of it? Absolutely.
You're going to have that with anything though.
Absolutely. Dude, you could be a goddamn plastic surgeon and be like, oh geez, I got to do another pair of tits again. This is fucking getting out of hand. Like you find, monotony in everything. So but John's got a point in it. And it's something I know we've bullshitted about before. And it's that whole ego thing. And, ego is the mind killer. And it's like, oh, fucking my build is better than your build, gun shaming, fucking, oh, you're running
the haters
carrier with this. And it's like, man, you don't know anything about this person's situation. you don't know if that dude might have saved 6 months to get that plate carrier because that's all he had.
But let's be real about it. A Condor plate carrier goes what? I don't know. I know everybody blasts $100, $110.
Well, let me ask you
I have
this.
no idea.
When's that?
When are you gonna?
Yeah. When's his next deployment to Afghanistan? And I mean, is he gonna have to be out in the shit for 8 months and rucking around and fucking fighting out of fucking waddies? No, it's some dude going to the range to plink with his friends. He's wearing it for safety. Thank fucking God some of these kids have the foresight to be safe.
I think John fucking nailed it. And, he's mentioned it with the industry, but in life itself is that fucking ego. And I don't understand why people can't let go of it. Obviously I run that gunsmith page and I fucking blast people all the time, making fun of them. So it almost sounds hypocritical of me to be talking on this.
No, it doesn't.
Hold on. But when you make fun of people, you're not doing it in a I'm better than you. You're doing it in you're a dumbass that just put 4 extra holes in an AR lower. What the fuck?
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'll agree with that, and I like that because therein lies the trouble with the ego of, sometimes people need to be made fun of because they're fucking stupid and they do stupid shit, and they need to be able to take a step back and look at themselves and be like, why is this whole comment section blasting me? What did I do here? And look at it and be like, you know what? That was kind of fucking stupid. I mean, I'm the first to admit when I do stupid shit, and I don't always see it right away. And if somebody points it out, I'm like, yeah, I guess so.
That was me.
Dude. Ego is your own worst enemy because as soon as you start to celebrate is when you make a mistake. And I've put fucking pistol sights on a Glock backwards and went to go take photos of it, and I'm like, yeah, this shit is fucking gangsta.
If you've done any amount of gun work and say that you have never done anything like that, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I no longer have the gun, but I was the guy who, I think it was a Springfield. Did they make a TRP? Was that their fancy one at the time?
Yeah.
So when it first came out, it was the Operator. This is maybe 8-10 years ago. So I'll buy guns that I see are getting hot, buy them, hold them back, come off of them. Well, what's my dumb ass do? I don't need to figure out. I could take this apart. Well, that damn little takedown thing that swings down, mine had that right in the side of it because I had no business taking the fucking thing apart without at least watching somebody else have done it.
But did you learn from it?
Oh yeah, I learned from it. Took a $1,400 gun and it didn't sell for what I had hoped for.
You wanna hear a fucking horror story about gunsmith violations? My original business partner was he was somebody from my unit. He was senior leadership, and when I got out, he basically was like, "Hey man, I want to help you do what you're going to do. So I'm going to go in on it. I want some retirement, whatever stuff, put a little bit away for retirement with this business to help you get started." So I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I need an extra hand. You want to help me gunsmith? So we're fucking gunsmithing and we're working on a SIG Scorpion, right? And if you're familiar with that pistol, I believe it's an aluminum frame, some kind of special aluminum. It's an expensive gun. It's about $1,400, or it was at the time.
SIG make anything not expensive?
I don't have one, so they install basically an ambi, right? So there's a detent in the mag release that you got to push down on, and it slips out of the frame. Super simple design if you know what the fuck you're doing. There's a spring behind it. Well, my partner at the time, he didn't realize that it had this detent. And so he's going to push this thing back in, and he goes, "I don't understand why it won't go back in. I don't understand why it won't go back in." He fucking hits it with a hammer. Well, that detent is steel, right? So it takes a perfect detent shaped hole right through that aluminum frame. Well, the shooter's right fucking handed. We can make it work left-handed, but we ended up buying that gun.
So you have to.
Yeah, and guess what? My partner's left-handed. So guess who got that fucking gun? Yeah, dude, it happens, man. I've smoked this and for the record, for all the people out there, fucking especially, I know Mineral Dick's gonna talk shit. I don't do my own gunsmithing anymore. I'm too busy with coding. I don't have time. I sourced that out to a retired sheriff up the hill. He's about 84 years old. The guy is a fucking a genius, and he charges for the service, but every time I send a gun to him and every time it comes back, I know for a fact that thing is going to work. And who gives a shit how cool your gun looks if it doesn't work? I don't care. It has to work. That's just, it's ridiculous. So you get these shade tree gunsmiths and they're like, yeah, I did this badass Cerakote, but the fucking trigger don't pull. And, well, that's how Cerakote is. Yeah. Hey guys, stop blaming Cerakote for your shitty fucking craftsmanship. Get over it. Please, nobody believes you.
I want to touch on that in a second too. But back, you know what? Fuck it, let's go for it. Sawyer, I'm going to give you props. You and your team are probably, if not the best. You're the one of the very top Cerakoters in the country, and I say that not because you're my buddy. It's because I have fucking eyes. And I can see the work done. You know what I mean? And you and I, going back to our conversations with Frank, you can see the fucking lines and just, you can see shitty work from a mile away if you know what you're looking for. But
we've picked apart some builds, man. I'll tell you that.
From some very, very reputable companies too. But these guys putting these guns together, that Cerakote's so fucking thick that the slide won't rack or even fucking slide on the frame.
I know dudes will tell me though, like, hey man, I've shopped around for a coating company, but they won't touch a 1911. They say that it's just too tight a tolerance. And I'm like, I'll admit it myself. I'm a horrendous shit talker. I fucking throw shade on people all the time for silly stuff like that. Cause it's like, don't lie. Don't, just be honest. Be like, hey man, this is outside my scope of ability. I don't have the the quality control equipment in-house to do it. I don't have the experience. And that's a better answer to somebody, to just be like, hey man, you know what? It's out of my skill set, and just walk away from it rather than go, well, Cerakote, it really doesn't work that good on bullshit. I've sprayed Cerakote directly into the fucking threads of aerospace parts and then followed it up with a fucking metric 1.0, and it fucking goes in just fine if you do it right. To be further, that Cerakote itself is an amazing product, and I'm not fucking paid by those assholes. They made me pay to go get certified, but
wait,
it works.
Are you guys,
the shit works.
Are you guys saying, and I'm certainly no Cerakote genius, are you saying that if I had you apply the appropriate amount of Cerakote between an upper and a lower, you could get rid of some of that rattle action I got going on right now?
I don't know if that would be the proper way to do that, but I sure know JB Weld will fix that real quick.
Can you Cerakote over JB Weld?
Fuck yeah, you can.
Actually, yes. Hell yes.
I know
I've Cerakoted over JB Weld a bunch of times. Now, the problem with that is when you put JB Weld in the sandblaster, it tends to get pitted.
Real quick.
You got to be careful.
It ain't as hard as what people want to make it out to be.
No, and there's actually something that we use instead of JB Weld. We use Lab. It's called Lab Metal. And Lab Metal is a much more superior product to JB Weld in that sense. Is it's actually like a liquid metal that you put it's kind of like any other epoxy resin or any other 2-part hardening kind of deal where you got to mix it together and put it in something. But man, that shit's it's absolutely amazing. We had a frame come into the shop. I put it in my story the other day. It's purple and gold camo, some fucking whatever. But the dude used JB Weld and then he sanded it all baby smooth. And he's like, I'm ready for Cerakote. And I'm like, man, I'm going to fuck your shit up if I sandblast it. He's like, what? I got 10 hours of sanding. And I'm like, dude, you got 10 more, bro. This fucking
I love it when people try to prep their own fucking shit.
Yeah. There's a pinnacle moment where you burst that bubble and you just watch the fucking life drain out of their face. Like, but I thought I was going to save.
Nope, just cost you more.
Yeah, and you wasted a bunch of fucking time too.
Oh yeah, for nothing. It's fine though, man. I get it, dude. It's
Well, yeah, totally. I mean, I understand it.
Yeah, I used to fucking work on shit that I knew wasn't gonna work just to have something to do, and then you learn from it, and it's like, well, fuck, I probably shouldn't have welded that like that because now I got to cut it apart. Fuck, what am I gonna do?
I want to switch gears, go back to something that I was gonna hit on before we went on that tangent. But so the problem, or one of the biggest problems in the gun industry is, shaming. And again, I know we kind of talked about it already, me having the meme page and all that. But part of that deal, or the biggest part, maybe perhaps even, is like John said, that fucking ego. I mean, you've got dudes out there that have all the top notch shit that you would never even know had it. Then you've got guys that have a fairly decent AR that are bashing anybody with a PSA or an Anderson and all that. And, we kind of talked before. I don't know. How do you fix that? I mean, is it just the ego? People won't release the ego. There is no fixing it. Or, I mean, you're not going to quit the shit talking.
It comes back to, if that guy was sitting across the table, would you say it to him?
Amen.
If he was within arm's reach.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, that I see on the internet, and I mean, we've looked at it, look even at something, I know something that you guys were both involved in, as far as, what went down this weekend with the Crom kid and all that going down. Now, a lot of people wanted to talk shit and get, and just throw unnecessary shade onto him. Now, the reality is that none of those people would have likely said that to him if he was sitting there with them. And if they would have, they're pieces of shit as human beings.
Right.
But I think a big problem with the internet in general is that there is that lack of arm's reach. I think we see it. It's not just the internet. Unfortunately, that same attitude carries over to the grocery store, to the gas station, to everywhere. And, I think you try to look at, groups that become inclusive. I know, I mean, he's not everybody's favorite. And I see people throw a lot of hate on the T-Rex crew. The one thing I'll give them credit for is they are a pretty inclusive crew, man. If you ever scroll through their comment section, the shit talking gets checked back pretty quick. And I don't know what we do as a group of individuals to stop it. And I think a big part of it is people validating themselves through purchases that don't mean shit for nothing. Your cry pants don't mean nothing. Yeah. No, you are not cooler because you have $400 pants on today. You are not cooler because you put a $1,500 optic on a gun. That doesn't change who you are as a person, but too many people equate themselves with objects.
So again, ego.
Yeah, you guys both know I'm outspoken on this subject matter because I've seen it before. I see it a lot of times with different people on pages that I watch. And what frustrates me the most is it's not even, the ego is the psychology, or the ego is part of the psychology of it. But it just shows me that person is so fragile in their existence. They have no foundation to their personality that they can use an object to garner the respect, or they're trying to use an object to garner respect for themselves. And it's like, that old saying, the proof is in the pudding. Well, it's like Bill Cosby said, you look like Jello fucking pudding. It's like, you look like a sack of shit and you're acting like a dick about a pistol that you bought, and you can't validate yourself with a monetary fucking, item. It's you bought it, you paid for it. That's awesome. I can buy anything I want. I can go do whatever I want, and it doesn't make me a better man for it.
So how do we teach that to the? Go ahead.
Is it that it's just easier to talk shit than it is to look at somebody? I mean, I do it. I commented on a guy's page the other day. I said, man, I'd never wear that thing, or I'd never shoot that thing. But if you like it, have fun with it.
Well, you remember those cowboy patches you sent me the other day?
Yeah.
I fucking lost my shit when I saw that. I saw that and I go, what in the West Alabama trailer park fucking is this? And it's like, you know what though? I took a step back and I thought, you know what do I care? What do I care what you put on your gear?
It's one thing. Yeah, it's one thing for us to crack on it. It's another thing where you're just like, man, you know what? If that's how you're getting yours, get it. I mean, I guess if
I don't care.
It don't
it's pay funny. Taxes. It don't put groceries in my fridge. It don't put gas in my tank. So what does it matter to me? And going back to what Jeff was saying about the gun shaming and the ego and this and that, it's like, okay, I get it. If you've got something hot that's super cool, that's awesome, man. It's an item. It doesn't have a personality. You set it on a shelf, and after you die, after you're dead and in the ground, that item continues on being the item that it was. It doesn't make you a better person. It's an inanimate object.
So that's another one where I think we see in this industry is the fad phases. You know, I mean, I think we like when you look back on things that have come through the industry that 5 years ago were the pinnacle. Like if you didn't have it, man, you weren't nothing. And as that fad goes away, now guys are actually looking back and, you know, like, I mean, I can remember a time when, and now everybody, it's all boomer this, boomer that, whatever, but that by God, 45 ACP was so superior to a 9 mil. Why would you ever carry a 9 mil? And now, you know, that I don't know who the right cool guy was to come out with a double stack 9 mil. But all of a sudden they're the coolest, you know? And I think you look at trends as they come through the industry. There's one right now that I know I throw at you guys on a regular deal. And that's this whole deal with what I call the cock carry. Apparently your appendix is right by your penis. Wasn't aware of that, but they call it the appendix carry. I call it the cock carry. I'd never do it myself and I don't understand the infatuation there. But in a couple of years from now, are we going to go back to the under the shoulder carry? I mean, like at what point do we?
I don't know.
You do you.
I've got a zombie green blood splatter Cerakote fucking Taurus in my waistband right now, so I can't attest to that. Fucking got zombie killer on the side of it. That's back in 2005 when that was hot. But you're right, man. I think people there's like an evolution of training or the absence thereof of legitimate training where there's this great desire to be G.I. Joe. So people follow who they perceive to be the best tactical trainer out there. And then they adopt that as like it was written in fucking Genesis chapter 1.
But
I don't get
my
it.
first question always is, do you need tactical training? I mean, there's some people out there that you see do all these crazy, don't get me wrong, they are shooters. They are shooters. When you look at shooting or the A box or the 1 box or whatever box it is, the magic triangle, they can knock the shit out of it. But I look at them, I go, you go $125 at best. Quit worrying about shooting and start eating. Lift some weights. Do some heavy shit.
That's your boy T-Rex.
I mean, whatever, dude. You're far more likely to get into a physical. You're more likely to get into a shoving match than a shootout. Don't get me wrong.
He has rocks in his boot to keep the wind from blowing him away. That's a adaptation.
Support the kid. He makes decent kydex, but God, buddy, you need something to eat. Let me know. I'll send you some good food.
He does. He's the fucking lights out, man, when it comes to running that gun. I can't say shit on that.
Oh, no way.
But
he just credit due.
Yeah, and you know, he may be tougher than I think, but I guess you see him in real life, and you know, he better fucking draw quick because he can outrun me that way. But
I saw him. I met him. Well, I didn't meet him. I saw him. I was at Turning Point USA in Arizona. We delivered a gun to TP USA with the gun co. Flew out there and did it, and he was in like the front row when I was there, and I saw him, and I have no problem with the guy. He didn't have an assuming personality. Me and you, Jeff, we're big boys. You know, I'm 6'2", 260. You know, and he was, you know, he wasn't short, but he wasn't tall. He wasn't big. He wasn't small. He just kind of like your average Joe. But, you know, I think jealousy plays a lot into what people have a problem with. They hate to see people succeed.
Oh,
they just tear them down. So that's why I like I said, I don't know that guy. I don't have any negative things to say about him because I don't know him. I do know that a lot of people like his stuff. I do know that people follow his training videos, and I know that he works with the law enforcement, getting guys out on the range and training. And those are all things I can get behind. I can't do the fucking skinny jeans thing.
You're a
I don't know about that. That's not my deal. But I just, I can't hate on the guy. I mean, I don't. Well,
no, I'm not gonna hate on him. He's done great things for the industry. We kind of touched on it earlier. He didn't own up to that effeminate comment he made about some guy that was gay or some shit, and he kind of backpedaled from that. And I didn't care much for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that he backpedaled, I didn't care that he backpedaled. I mean, I cared that he backpedaled. God damn it, I didn't care that he made the statement. But I didn't like the way he didn't own up to it. But he just looks like one of those guys you'd want to punch in the face.
Just make sure you close the distance quick, because damn, he's quick on the draw.
We just got done saying all this nice stuff, and Jeff wants to punch him in the face. You know what? He may watch this podcast and he may go, you know what? I'm going to come on your show, and he just shows up at USA Gun Bunker HQ and just fucking wrecks you, dude, right on camera.
No,
10 million followers, dude. He's like, look at this queer. I knocked him the fuck out.
If somebody shows him this show, he's like, why is this fat fuck even talking about me?
He's like, where's these guys at? Is this who sanctioned this? Yeah, there's cool guys out there like that, but there's also like there's people that make a living just being dicks. And
what about one I can't let go anymore, guys? What about all these tactical gear companies? Every other week I see them do a release that they sold out of hats and patches and t-shirts.
I don't know how the fuck they sell all that shit. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I thought, and then you go and check their website and you're like, so wait, you guys can't seem to keep a single real thing in stock. And then I'll email them, because I mean, if I'm going to talk shit, I'll at least make sure I'm somewhat on the level to do it. And I'll email them and say, hey, guys, I'm interested in one of your products. Something as simple as a sling. It's been out of stock for you guys are putting a 12-week lead time onto it right now. Now I see you can make t-shirts, patches, and hats. And then I get a response back that says, we are busy with government contracts. Then shut down the fucking Instagram page. I guarantee you the Department of Defense did not look at your Instagram page and go, motherfucker, the Marines need that.
If I had some government contracts, you wouldn't fucking see me on social media at all. I'd be fucking hiding, dude.
Hey, you know what though? As somebody who legit, I fucking work in some of that stuff. It gets monotonous. I will tell you that, working on the government shit, like because you can't, like, you got a business that, like, let's say the sling company, right? And this is close to home for me. You start out as a small sling company, right? You start making 50 slings a month, then 200, then 2,000, then you're up to 20,000 slings a month. And all of a sudden they fucking, hit you up and they're like, hey man, can you do, 100 slings a day for us? And we want them in gray. We want them serialized, and you can't post. You can't tell anybody that you're doing it. You got to sign an NDA, and you're our bitch now. And so I can't speak for everyone, but I know for me, at least, being able to have some tie to the real world and being able to fucking talk and have humor and exchange things, because you don't talk to these people. They send you an email, they send you a PO, and then you give them a product. And if there's a problem, you'll hear about it. If not, you get paid 30 to 60 days later. And there's no...
That gives you definitely a different insight on it, man. I mean,
yeah, I'm not saying it gets lonely, but it's kind of like, it's just fucking the meat grinder, dude. You're just pulling a lever and fucking making a widget. And so at least with the outreach on Instagram, it's like I do 90% of my business is done off Instagram. And me and you have talked about this. I get maybe one sale a day off Instagram, but that one sale a day gives me 5 to 10, maybe 30 minutes of engagement time with somebody that's not an engineer, that's not a fucking, somebody, an assembler or a project manager. And it's all hello, to whom it may concern. Looking at part number 82345. It gets monotonous and it is not that much fun. Now it pays a fuckload of money, but you don't get this interaction. You don't get to talk shit like, oh man, what are you running a Glock for? Talking shit. You get a little bit of respite. So I see that person's point, but I understand yours, John. Update your inventory.
Yeah, that or just quit putting a picture of the same shit on the interweb. If you ain't got it, don't advertise it. Come on.
Yeah. So the interaction part, on that note, and one of the primary reasons that I wanted to do this podcast, and I know we talked about it for a long time. What about Instagram and specifically? I mean, Facebook does it too. Social media. What the fuck is that? The censorship of and not being able to talk and bullshit and have this interaction. I mean, John, what was that comment you put today that got taken down?
I don't even know. It was like supporting and it had the word fuck in it, and it's the only thing I could think of. I mean, I couldn't believe that it got blasted off your page, and I was like, wow, they censored me. It was something about that I was promoting violence, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah, inciting violence or something like that. But it was talking about you had said that something about the best year being 1775, and starting freedom and all that, and he couldn't even fucking post it. I mean, where is that going to go?
That was it. I told you, I said if that gun was mine, I'd shoot it till the fucking guts of it hit the floor. And I was like, wait, what? And no part of that are we inciting violence.
Right.
It's a bot. These things have flags. This whole system has flags. There's no real person fucking sitting there going, oh.
No, I know that, but I mean,
the word guts, the phrase guts hitting the floor. They're like, oh, violence. Oh man, it's like, dude, you got look at the fact checking thing. I mean, you can't. I mean, years ago I saw this coming because people were getting the boot. They started doing shadow bans, right? Like my page, we used to get 3,700 to 5,000 views on our story a day, and just dumb shit. I mean, I used to just post dumb stuff, just pictures of my lizard, fucking just weird shit, like trying to be personal, trying to build rapport with the customers. And now I'll put up something that I would assume would be really interesting and neat, and we get 1,000 people that see it in a 24-hour period. Some of it gets deleted.
I've had that.
I get people that hit me up. I got Jay, I'm sure you know him, and he hit me up one day and he's like, hey man, did you kick me off your page? And I go, no, why would I do that? I talk to you fucking 3 times a week. He goes, well, I ain't a follower of yours anymore. And I went back and it was like, I looked and I had lost like 3,000 followers in the last year off my page. And I'm like, I haven't done anything different. I'm still serving the same. My monthly numbers are the same, as far as sales go. Where the fuck are these people going? And then I start talking to other guys and they're like, yeah, man, I get unfollowed. I am unfollowed from pages. And it's like,
I lost 200 followers in a day one time. And I hate the fact that I actually pay attention to those numbers, but I do look at the analytics just for a business perspective. And it's weird. I don't know. I've had that happen a lot too. People text me and be like, hey, what the fuck, dude? Why'd you kick me off your page? And I'm like, nah.
Unless you do something real dumb or start getting disrespectful. Like I have a pretty high threshold for retardation. And
as evidenced by this podcast.
Absolutely. Evidence of my life. But there's just not a lot that you can really do or say. I mean, you got to start getting real personal or real stupid real fast. And I'll block somebody or get rid of them. But no, the Instagram censorship, the social media censorship, we've learned, obviously, you cannot go out and start your own social media platform. Look at Parler. I mean, what medium do we use? That's the whole thing. They don't want you to use anything because the more you talk, the more you know. We learn from these interactions because that's how I think humans grow. Somebody hopefully somewhere out there if they stumble across this fucking podcast, they're going to hear what we've talked about and they're going to go, huh, I never thought of it like that. Maybe I shouldn't be such a prick about somebody that's got something in a less fortunate situation than me. I've been an asshole. And we did one good thing. I'm happy. But they don't want you to do that. And when I say they, I mean, the big tech that's been censoring the conservative and centrist movements, that we don't want you talking. We want you sipping the fucking Kool-Aid. We want you afraid. We want you fucking angry. We want you thinking everybody's a racist. Dude, I'm the nicest fucking guy there is. And, I'm the first to call it like I see it, but this is it. All it is censorship at its best. And you don't have to have a poli-sci degree. You don't have to be a fucking, a CIA analyst to see it. I mean, if they disagree with you, they don't argue with you anymore. They just, you're done. You're done. That's it. Game over. I mean, look at Blumpkin's page. I mean, albeit he breaks the fucking code of conduct every day, but he's putting out a message, right? And they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. And so they kill it.
That's what gets scary is the second you silence the dissenting vote. I mean, if you look back through history, and then I'm not going to name, I'm certainly trying not to throw out names or titles to people, but regimes have typically censored the dissenting view first. As soon as you can control the dissemination of information to the populace, you now have the ability to change the way people think.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
The unfortunate part about that is a lot of people, as we see through subjects we've already discussed here, are so easily led down a path of this is what I'm supposed to do.
They're manipulated.
I mean, let's be glad that for a large part of the community that we're in, I mean, guys, the gun sales are through the roof. They can't put ammo on the shelf. A good part of that is just guys straight up fanboying. I mean, don't get me wrong. Who is it? Knights Armament. I think they make an AR that is badass. And I know if you have one, everybody on the internet is definitely going to think you're cool. I haven't bought one because I've assessed the situation, looked at it and gone, man, my gun bounces around my truck and I beat the shit out of it. And I'm not a war fighter. I need my gun to work to shoot shit around a ranch. It doesn't make sense to me. But a large part of people, that information works both ways. Where it gets scary is when that control is had by a single political affiliation, whether it's our side or not.
Oh yeah, wholeheartedly.
It's scary as hell, guys. It don't matter whose side it is. Information needs to be free flowing.
Well, it has to be bipartisan as well. You have to have a choice, and I don't care what choice you make, but make an educated choice. Look at the two things, and you've got A and then you got B. Well, they take away A, and now here's your choice. It's like
he looks awfully good now.
Yeah, this is indoctrination at this point. It's no longer educated person makes a decision on what's best for them. I get into conversations with people very carefully online because I try to argue things in a way that I look at both sides of the story. And one of my brothers told me, he said, if you can't argue a point from the positive and the negative, then you have no point, no reason to argue any of the points because you haven't looked at it enough. So if you can't go from both sides of it, don't talk about one because you're not educated. And you get into these conversations.
Be right back, boys.
Oh yeah. You get into these conversations and these guys are hardline left, hardline right, hardline whatever. Hardline is a bad stance to take no matter which side you're on. You should be malleable in your thought process, able to fucking take and receive and give and learn from everything that's presented to you. Otherwise, you're missing out on half the picture, and you don't have to always agree.
I agree with that to a point, man. I don't have a problem with somebody being hardline. I feel like that's kind of the way I am. There's no black or white, or there's no gray. It's all black or white. It is what it is. Spade is a spade type deal. but not having that ability to look at stuff objectively to make that hard line decision, is where
that's my point though. I'm not saying don't pick a side or choose a side. What I'm saying is you have to look at all the facts before you can make a decision. And I got to be careful what I say, because I don't want to sound one way or the other, because I'm not. But it's just, when you look at a political situation or you look at a choice in something and you got to weigh all your options, well, how the fuck do you know what decision to make if you don't know all the facts? That doesn't make any sense to me.
When I had a personal Facebook, I used to catch a lot of hell because I followed the Hillary Clinton. I followed all the liberal progressive news stations, your CNN, shit like that, because I at least wanted to get their perspective on why they believed what they believed and why they felt so strongly about it. What that led me to see is that both sides are full of fucking shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm very conservative, and I'm a registered Republican, but I don't know that I like that tag of defining who I am. I try to understand where they're coming from and why they are thinking, in my opinion, the crazy shit they think. Just so, like I said, I can step back and look at it. And I'm not going to say I've had my mind changed about things by doing that. And I just don't think a lot of people are capable or want to even be capable of doing something like that.
Sorry, John.
I think it goes back to the to the earlier point we've talked about, which is how people identify. You're okay being Jeff. Sawyer's okay being Sawyer. John, well, I'm stuck with what I am, I've got people in my own family who have aligned themselves politically, and then when I sit down and try and talk to them factually, and I mean I'm talking very using analytics to carry out a discussion. Numbers don't lie. Now there's a great debate right now on science, but I mean numbers typically can at least be validated. I've sat down with my own family and tried to validate numbers, and eventually it turns into such just this maelstrom of discontent that I just go, well, okay. I mean, sorry for trying to talk to you guys about it. And I just walk away disheveled. And then I really try and step back and think as to, how did we arrive here? And I realize it's because they've identified libertarian, Democrat, Republican, whatever side it may be. They're so staunch in that belief that that's how they identify. They're incapable of thinking that maybe the guys I'm hanging out with are retards and they're wrong.
And I used to think it was just the left that hated facts, because like you said, when you start bringing facts up, I would always say that the liberals would just resort to name calling. It's not just the liberals. I mean, it's both, all sides.
I don't know if you guys are big readers, but I got a book that I would recommend to you.
How many pages?
Are there pictures?
A couple hundred. There's no pictures, no coloring.
I'm out.
Unfortunately. Yeah, you look at enough. We both look at enough manuals every day. I'm sick of fucking tech specs. But there's a famous author it's back in the day. It's like 50s, 60s, but it's Frank Herbert. He wrote the book Dune and quite a few other books after that. But one of my favorite quotes by him in his book is fear is the mind killer. And I carry that around with me because that's fear right there, what you're talking about, Jeff. And fear fucking kills your thoughts. It makes you make decisions based out of panic. It makes you make snap reactions. And John, like what you were saying, you've got people that are clinging to these identities and clinging to these fucking these political views, and they have no room for any input or adjustment. And for me, as soon as somebody breaks down and starts calling names or getting mad, I know I've won, because I'll beat you to death with reason, because I've looked at it, and I'm not going to talk about it until I understand it.
Is it just being afraid to be wrong? I mean, is that what it is?
I don't know. I don't get it, because I'm not that way. I'm wrong every day. And I know that from the minute I wake up, the first foot I put on the floor is probably the wrong foot. So if you can fucking, but what do I lose? What do I lose by admitting that? You know
that's what I mean. I used to be, oh fuck, I don't even know if I want to go into it, but just extremely set in my ways, and not that I'm still not, but I guess you got to be humbled, and I don't know how to achieve that on a mass basis, but once a guy's humbled, I mean, perspective changes on shit.
Yeah. You don't know your true self until you've really been broken down and lost everything. I've been fortunate enough in my life to have been fucking basically reduced to nothing in one way or another, either with injury, going from being able to power lift and do that to being able to barely get up the fucking stairs without having help. And it changes your perspective, man. I used to fucking go downtown and get into fist fights all the time. Fucking didn't care, pushing people around, being a bully because of my size. And then I learned, I was like, wow, man, I get your ass handed to you once or twice. And you're like, huh. So that's what that's like. I probably shouldn't do that anymore.
It's not very fun.
Yeah. And it's, but you don't know that until you put yourself in that position, or, you think you're the fucking richest guy on the block. You got a brand new car, a big house, all that stuff. I've had it. And then you lose it. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, so this is what it feels like to have to work hard for something, or this is what it feels like to have to restart, or, luckily most of us are fairly intelligent guys, at least, compared to the other people I talk to most of the time. But you get whacked in the head one good time, and all of a sudden you're a muttering idiot. And it's like, you don't take that. You don't, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't appreciate that. And so, you gotta fucking be careful, man. It's like telling you guys about celebrating early on this deal that I've got that potential.
And I told you, I totally fucking get it, man.
I don't, and that's why I said I'm not saying nothing. I'm not even putting it out there in the world, other than I hope it goes through. But if it does, it's a fucking, it's a life-changing thing for me. And they told me, hey, congratulations, you did it. And I'm like, we have not crossed the finish line.
I'm not there. I'm not physically there.
When I cross that line, then I'll crack the bottle of champagne. But until that day, we do not celebrate until we cross the mile marker. And that's what people do. They fucking celebrate.
You guys watch rodeo at all?
I mean, no.
So there's a kid here last week. He's in a roping event. It's a combined pot roping event. $1.1 million on the line. All he's got to do is close out his run. He does it, runs back to his horse, spooks his horse drags a calf. He lost $1.1 million.
God.
Now this boy didn't celebrate, scared his horse. He didn't do nothing other than walk over, pat his horse on the head, get back on it. It was probably one of the I don't want to say few times. It was one of the most heaviest moments I've ever seen. $1.1 million change your life. There are very few people in this country that $1.1 million doesn't change your life. It would have changed his life drastically. And to see the humility and the grace at which he walked through that situation with was impressive to me. And that's a tough one.
I can get behind that though, because you got guys that hit rock bottom and they don't get back up and rebuild. And that's the person that I truly pity. I don't pity your fall. I don't pity my own personal setbacks that I've had in my life, because to be quite honest, I would not be where I am today because I would have quit a long time ago if I hadn't learned those lessons early on, and what it meant to be, it's like, yeah, I didn't get this deal. I bid this big $1 million deal and I didn't get it. Okay, the next one might get it. The next one. Well, 20 quotes later, you finally get it. But it's like you get discouraged and you're like, well, I'm going to give myself I'm only going to do 5. No, you're going to do 5,000 or 5 million or 500 million until you get it. And you don't stop going until you get it. And if you do quit, I pity you then, because you didn't believe in yourself enough to keep going. And it wasn't worth it.
There's a lot of mind fucking going on there, and we're getting really deep into this, but I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was gonna say we've gone from wet wipes to some truly, this has some context to it.
Hey, you know what though? I'd rather have our first episode be a good one and let people know that, we're not just gonna talk about fucking what cool new pistol barrel popped up on the market today, gone tomorrow. We got some fucking, some quasi insightful things to talk about. Albeit, I do want to fucking deal with guns, and I do want to deal with blowing shit up and all that.
And we will.
Fun.
Yeah,
that's great.
But I like I said, I'm kind of enjoying this. And I know you guys have probably been in the same spot. Most everybody has, but I've been in some pretty fucking dark spots where weird thoughts have went through my head, and I'm not talking, I never have once thought about just fucking ending it all, because I just don't think I have that in me. But I have had thoughts of, well, I could go try this, and if it fucking happens, it happens. No big deal, If I fucking drive this fucking car 120 miles into a fucking brick wall, well, it happened. But when you've been in that spot, and I pray I never get back there, but when you go that low and are able to actually work yourself out of it, you get such a different perspective on life in general. And I'm not talking, there's only so much time, that kind of thing. It's just kind of like you said, it makes you appreciate things. Like, you get kicked in the ball so many times when you're trying to get that bid or whatever it may be in your life. It may be fucking getting out of bed in the morning. You fucking finally do it. That feeling is immeasurable, because you know so well what it's like to not be able to.
Yeah. Dude, I've been in some pretty unique situations living out here for the last 12 years in California, to meet some people that are pretty fucking cool. Some of my personal heroes are the Trailer Park Boys, and I got to meet them in Hollywood one time.
I have a Trailer Park Boys story, but go ahead.
Do you?
Yeah.
So I was in a box seat up in the front, and I saw Sebastian Bach was out in the audience as like a kind of like a surprise for the cast or whatever, because they were going to call him up onto stage. Well, I fucking do what I do, and I go over there and I buy him and his old lady a couple drinks, get him feeling good. And I'm like, hey man, let's go backstage and fucking, I got a little gift, wink, wink, for these Trailer Park Boys. I want to fucking share with them. And so we go backstage, and I fucking start chopping it up with them. And, one of my, I'm not going to name any names on it, but I'll just say one of the guys that I liked the most on the show, who seemed like he had the coolest personality, had the least coolest personality. And the guy that you thought was going to be the biggest prick of the bunch was actually the most down-to-earth guy. Cyrus, of course. Finger's always on the trigger. Safety's always off. But no, and I had a fucking epiphany moment there, and I'm like, people are actors in life in general. They put on this fucking character, they put on this face, and they go out there and they put it out there for the world to see. And I was kind of bummed out about that. I thought, man, this guy puts out such a cool persona, and then you go and you bring him something that you worked so hard for 8 weeks to grow for him. And he fucking, he just looks at it and he's like, oh, okay, cool. And then the other guys are like, hell yeah, man, that's fucking awesome. I can't believe you did that. You got, I pulled shenanigans to get backstage, just like in the, you know what I mean? It's kind of like along the lines of the show. You can't pay for the backstage thing. You gotta work out the problem. And I did it. So, but then I got back there and I go, I don't know if I really want to hang out with this guy anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, what a cocksucker. And, the other guys were cool, and it ended up being a probably top 5 memory. And I've been lucky to do that. But, people at the highest level are not as happy as you'd like to think they are. And I thought about that, and I'm like, this had nothing to do with me. I'm just some kid from fucking Michigan, I ain't nobody. What do I, but I'm back here with this. The fucking CEO of Netflix was one table over, and I'm like, what am I doing in here? And it's like, I'm way out of water here.
My wife and I, we were this fucking close to getting on their bus, because we went and saw them in Kansas City. They had a show in Kansas City they were doing. And we paid for the extra after party deal, like, well, not a party, but to go meet them after the show, right? So we didn't go backstage, but we kind of went to the back.
Called a meet and greet or a circle jerk, one of the two.
Yeah, circle jerk.
I think it was a meet and greet.
Cookie involved?
So we get back there. Of course, we're in line with all the other schmucks that fucking bought it too, and we finally get up there. And so I walk up to Julian, and this is back. Fuck, man, it's been, I don't know, let's just say 10 years ago. Before I had all the back surgeries and shit, and I was powerlifting, and I was much more physically fit than what I am now. And so I walk up to Julian and I said, I thought you'd be bigger. I thought it was fucking hilarious. I mean, I was so excited to fucking deliver that line to him. He didn't think it was funny at all.
I thought he was a pretty nice guy to me. I thought he
was cool, but he just didn't find the fucking humor in that joke.
Well, yeah, he was like, who's this cocksucker? Like, no, he's too, and people don't realize it. He's exactly like his character on the show in person. Like,
and we talked to him a little bit. We didn't get that close to him, but we did end up, we kind of, like you said, we finagled our way after the meet and greet. Wasn't a circle jerk. After that, we finagled our way like to the very, very back when they were getting on their bus, and it's late at night, and we were getting ready to walk on. We had talked to the security guards and we were cool with them. It was my wife and I and two friends of ours. And this one fucking cocksucker was just being an obnoxious prick because he had kind of trailed on with us and he ruined the whole thing for us. And we ended up not getting to go on, but that's my Trailer Park Boys story.
Yeah, they were cool guys, man. Like I said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'll take it. I did have fucking Sebastian Bach get mad at me though for
no shit.
Yeah, he was fucking hammered, dude. He had purple teeth, like he was fucking winoing it up, and he's like, "Hey man, those are my friends," because I was kicking it with him, and he got super territorial over it, and I just laughed at him. He's like 8 feet fucking tall, and I'm like, dude.
Is he tall? I didn't know that.
Oh, he's a monster. He's a fucking giant. Weighs $110, but he's 8 feet tall. So he was hammered. I don't blame the guy. I've been a dick when I'm hammered too.
I've never had that happen.
Hey, I give him credit though. They put up with me for a fucking couple. Like I was there till like 3-4 in the morning. Which actually that's another story because that transitioned into also the worst night of my life. Because it happened about the theater where they did the live show was like 5 blocks away from Skid Row in downtown. And when we got out of the show, we parked above a jewelry store in like a private parking lot that was down the street from the venue. Well, in Los Angeles at nighttime in those shitty areas, it's beautiful in the daytime, right? All the jewelry stores, the fancy clothes, all that shit. Well, fuck no. At night, dude, the shutters come down and it's all graffiti over everything. And the buildings are so tall, you've got no GPS. You don't know where you're at. You can't get service. So I walked up and down that road 4 or 5 times before I finally figured out where I was fucking going. But in the meantime, there's hopelessly insane homeless people running the street, screaming, taking shits in the road. And people see the homeless crisis that's going on in Los Angeles and in other areas in California. You have no fucking clue, dude. There was literally, it looked like a scene out of The Walking Dead, like people in trash bags packed, like no space between them, lining the fucking road, dude, in black trash bags because that's how they can ball up a cover, put it in their backpack. Dude, I mean, even the cops were fucking flying down the road, doing 100 miles an hour, all lights and sirens. And I'm like, where are you going? We need help. I'm going to
anywhere but there.
Dude, me and this chick we were all dressed up. She's in high heels. Fucking, I'm in Dockers and a fucking dress shirt.
So you fit right in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And I mean, I've been in some sticky situations before, so we got out of it. But I was just like, I turned and looked at her and I said, don't be surprised if I have to stab a motherfucker tonight. It's just like this dude runs out and we're standing at an intersection.
Did you have a non-metallic pointy object?
Oh yeah.
I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming. I was waiting for it.
No, my permissive environments fucking pokey tool. No, I did not. I had a I had a fucking verboten, I probably had a bench made on me or something.
All you needed is a big pen. I'd still like to see a big pen go up. But yeah, I mean,
fuck. You got to hit them right in the jugular vein, and that's the target point. Fuck up. I would have been more likely to pick up a brick than use a fucking big pen. Jesus Christ.
Oh, shit.
So what is your fascination, John, with this all things Pokey?
Dude, it's getting out of hand. $110 for a piece of G10 that's sharpened into a point. Here's the worst part. They're selling that to some kid that doesn't realize if they catch his ass with that in a courthouse or any government building, you're going to fucking jail.
Not just jail, you're going to prison.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's be real. If I had to really get down and do work, I'll go to work with a big pen. Yeah, you're fine with that. Your ass goes, this is a bone folder I use for my leather work. You walk into any kind of environment with something like that and get down on somebody, I guarantee you, I just don't get it. I don't understand this infatuation. Followers, I know one of you out there has a really expensive non-metallic pointy thing. The other day I'm watching, there's some guy, he's running a beeper wand over a fucking screw. Beep, 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 beep. Then he puts it over his pointy thing. Nothing. Like, you are literally walking the same poor 18-year-old kid that's buying that into a trap. You guys cannot be walking around with this shit. That was, and I'm no lawyer. There's a lot of things I'm not, but I could guarantee damn well to you, they catch your ass with that in the wrong environment. That's a felony. Like,
you think people don't know about that stuff too, and that's where you're wrong. They know. You think those security guards and cops don't have Instagram and they don't subscribe to that shit? Because I promise you they do. And I told y'all about that story about me at the courthouse when I went down there and I fucking, took a photo for my lawyer. And that dude came out in the fucking, with the SAP gloves on. And and they were ready to fucking take me out. And I was dressed well. I had a nice suit on, had a briefcase, all that shit. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, whoa. Just letting my lawyer know where I'm at. Don't be photographing the front door. And I'm like, you get caught with a fucking Pokey item in a permissive environment or whatever the fuck word they want to use.
Yes.
Bro, you're getting keistered for the next 5 years by Bubba because you had a pointy fucking fun thing that you thought you might as well just get a Bowie knife and just carry it on your hip and just be done with it. Because at least then you can't say it's concealed.
Some of that shit's expensive too, man.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the fucking fallacy of Instagram knowledge for you.
But it's no different.
Fucking expert.
These guys I see walking around with axes hidden in every crevice of their body. The other day I'm watching this guy whips an axe out. I watched the video 3 times trying to figure out where in the fuck he had that hid. All I'm thinking is like, dude, like you're trying to sell a holstered axe to the same community that's all walking around with cock carry pistols. I mean, like, I'm waiting to see the video. There's one page I follow that just shows these disaster videos of people getting fucked up. I keep waiting to see the video of the guy that pulls out his axe. The other guy undoes his cock carry piece, realizes he wasn't carrying it hot. He's going to chamber one, gets his arm lopped off with an axe, brings it up. Oh shit, my red dot's not on. He's reaching for the button, trying to get his fancy fucking sight on. Meanwhile, the other guy's fucking hacking at him with a fucking modified sharp thing. Dude, it's going to happen. That'll be a good video.
What, you sent me something the other day. There was a fucking knife. Was he like hit it in a zipper or some shit?
Yes, dude, I'm telling you that they put them. Yes, they are finding places to put knives. Where I'm just, man, you have a lot more faith in the lockback on that thing than I've ever had in any instrument I've carried. You clearly have never run a folder closed on a finger and took that fucker to the bone. Because if you had, you wouldn't be carrying that thing there.
I've got to have a pocket knife. I do. I carry one with me. Yes, everywhere. I don't have one that big. That's what she said. Or he said. But what cracks me up though, and I'm all about having nice shit. It's cool if you can afford nice shit. Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't even really want to get into it, but the whole Benchmade deal when they were, supporting cops and everybody got all fucking pissed off or whatever. I've got a couple Benchmades and some other knives. one of my all-time favorite knives is a fucking $15. I think it's a Schrade knife.
Sure.
And that fucking thing, it just continues to fucking work. And I liked it so much, and this will show my tight assedness. But instead of going and buying a new $15 knife when one of the screws fell out of the clip, I just emailed the company. I'm like, hey, can I buy some of the screws from you? Because I really like this knife. And they sent me a new fucking knife.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, like I said, $15 knife, no big deal. But I don't know the money some of the people spend on this shit.
At $15, there's not a whole lot of meat on the bone for profit on those things. So
No.
that's how we get into this conversation all the time when we're at work. It's like, how much markup can you really put on an item, right?
Did you call me a poor? Is that what you said?
I didn't say that. John probably did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Your old ass didn't get rid of the knife that was missing the fucking screw. You just got two knives now.
Hey, don't let John talk shit. He's sitting on a G10 scimitar under the couch there. Fucking cutlass there made out of fucking polymer under his fucking seat.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
I bought it. Ace Hardware or Do It Best, the Do It Best brand.
We prefer Ace in these parts.
We prefer
Ace,
True Value.
True Value. Do It Best. Well, I fucking live at that store because it has a hardware selection that you can't, dude. Puts McMaster car to shame with the shit you can walk in and get over there. They got floor to ceiling 2 aisles with pull out drawers that have fucking two tiers deep. But I bought a pocket knife the other day that I've been carrying pretty much every day for a while now. It wasn't the other day, it's probably 2 months ago. But you remember the old timer bone handled double blade? They got the skinner
jackknife
and the drop point. Yeah, it's got the lock back on it. I fucking recently, I travel quite a bit. I fly probably once or twice a month, business and pleasure.
You're kind of a big deal.
Well, fucking just going for fucking probation hearings in other states wasn't really a big deal, but fucking flying, I have definitely left knives in my pockets and in my suitcases, not on purpose. And I've gotten caught on multiple occasions with fucking knives. And the one knife that I've ever gotten out of line and been like, nope, hold on, I'm gonna figure this fucking out, whatever it is. Called my fucking ride, but it was one of those it was an elk bone handle old timer. And I was like, you know what, man, this thing, I have no connection to it. I just thought it was a badass old school knife. It's what my great grandpa used to have. And I was just like, fuck, man, I've thrown away Benchmades in the trash can where they're like, oh, free amnesty, throw the shit away. And it's like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. It's $100. God, stupid me. I can't believe I did that. But that one, man, I'm like, hey, you still close? Okay, I'll come back around to the American Airlines gate. I'm gonna drop something off to you. And I fucking love that knife, man. And it ain't fancy and it ain't tactical. That's for damn sure.
I've buried knives. Those like big fake plants that are sitting in like pebbles and rocks and shit. You can bury a knife in there and get that motherfucker when you come back.
Not in LAX, you can't, because some crackheads dug to the bottom.
I've never been in LAX. No.
Yeah, dude, it's like walking out of World War Z into the fucking airport. This whole dude. Not to spoil the fucking surprise, but I've made it a little bit public that moved back home down south. And I cannot wait to get the fuck out of this place. I cannot tell you the relief that I will feel when I can walk outside and stretch my arms without touching a homeless person. And the fucked up part is I live in a nice area. If you Google where I shop's at, you know what I mean? Google the location of our shop in the city that I live in, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm 7 miles outside of Malibu, and it's like it ain't cheap, and there's no diversity here. Let's put it that way. So for me to say that, I'm serious, dude. And it's fucking, we were over to the Target, and my old lady goes, is that a full fucking trailer? Like, not, it was a trailer home, like a fifth wheel, but they had taken the entire cab off of the fifth wheel, and it was just a shell of a trailer, and they had the whole fucking thing disassembled, and it was a homeless camp there in the Target parking lot. And the dude was making repairs to he's a full-time fifth wheeler, but he was not doing it for leisure. He was doing it for survival. And, you know, the law here let him do it, I guess, but he put that motherfucker back together and he had it all taken apart in the Target parking lot. I mean,
I've gained several clients, customers, and friends in California. And, you know, I've same story I tell every single one of them. And I know I've told you too. I don't know how the fuck you do it.
I don't either.
I couldn't.
It's been 12 years. I got here. I got sent here on assignment for the Seabees back in 2009. I got here, spent about 2 weeks in California, and then I was in Afghanistan. And then I came home. I was here for 6 months, turned right back around, went to East Africa, came back home, was home for 8 months, turned around, went right back on deployment again. And then when I got out, it was like, well, time to start a business. I was married, you know, and I didn't really I had almost 6 years on the books here after I'd gotten out. And when I had already started a business, I had been isolated, and I started to explore the country, the area, you know, because when you're active, you can't do a whole lot, or at least I couldn't, because I was.
I mean, it's beautiful where you're at. I know it is. I mean, I've been in that area.
But it's like kind of one of those things where, you know, you turn off the lights and the roaches come out. It's like that, man. I mean, the street, I'm telling you, man, it's sketchy.
Streets are alive.
Yeah, dude, it's not. And I mean, I wish I'm a sentimental person, you know, I put out there, I'm an asshole and all this, but like, I feel for them dudes. You're driving down the 101 or the 405 headed south, and you look over the fucking road, dude. And, you know, as a kid, you think about, oh, that'd be a cool place to build a fort. Well, those adults have built forts down there, and they're living in it full time. And then, you know, this place catches fire like a fucking modular home, you know, like every week it's a fire. And, you know, it's like, what's that smell? That must have been a bunch of dead homeless guys that burn up and they didn't find the corpses, you know? And it's like, I wish I was joking, because it's too real for reality. But
it's too bad as a country, you know, we didn't have some spare money laying around that we could, you know, maybe work on improving some things here domestically.
Yeah, well, Gavin Newsom had his winery open. He had every other fucking hardworking person in California on lockdown, but you could still go tour his fucking wine facility. You know, no big deal there.
Well, I think we're paying for some kind of weird gender reassignment studies in foreign countries. I mean, yeah, like that's a whole nother. Maybe that's next week.
Yeah, we'll get a taxation of theft fucking show.
Yeah,
I've got a lot to say about that.
Hey, what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about these stimulus checks? Like, where the fuck is that money going to come from?
Oh, that's
you know where the fucking money's coming from.
That's the taxation is theft show, guys.
No. There ain't enough theft going on to pay that tab, dude. Every person in America can't get $5,000 times.
They're printing it. They're printing the fucking money.
Yeah,
and
guys,
inflation.
I hate to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy. The sun's getting low, and I got chores outside that suck to do under headlights.
Gotcha.
But I like this. I'm ready. I am definitely ready for. You can't just make money. It's yeah.
All right, we've got some people lined up. I think some ideas for people we're gonna have on, anyways, and we'll go from there.
We gotta have on. We got to have on Fallout Prop Guy, because I want him to fucking come on here and make everybody laugh. He's funnier than fuck.
And Mineral Dick already fucking cried and moaned to me. So
once again, I think throw it out to the viewers. I mean, maybe you do a poll vote. You do something like that.
Yeah.
Power to the people, man.
We'll get some comments on this.
The wrong way. I think it's that way.
We'll get some comments on this and maybe do some polls and shit.
All two viewers, my mom, your wife, fucking.
I'll vote just myself. I'll create a fake.
All right, get your chores done. See you guys.